Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mania Long Note Tournament 3rd edition. We're rolling right along into this back half of this round of 64 weekend, and what better way to kick things off than with a very, very exciting matchup on screen for you. It is going to be GripWarrior going against Cryolien. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined once again by none other than Dynascape. Dyna, how you doing today?
Great as always, Sparky. Long day of matches, but glad we're getting through and things are chugging along. Right now we do have Grip versus Cryolien, as you said, and I mean, GripWarrior, seed number 5, so Cryolien is tasked with the very scary quest of having to take down one of the top guns of this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. The unenviable task of trying to take down a top seed. But honestly, with how close some of these matches have been, I am throwing all expectations out the window. That being said, GripWarrior are going to be the heavy favorite in this matchup as we make our way through into the warm-ups here. These two, no strangers to the tournament scene, have definitely been around for quite a while. GripWarrior, as of recently, with the 4-key World Cup that just recently concluded. Cryolien participated in last year's edition, absent from the team this year, but has definitely been around for quite a while.
Yeah, not only that, also one of those 7K players that we talk about invading the 4K long note scene, as well as winning TMC 1. So yeah, definitely no stranger. So looking into the statistics, I mean, Grip 5th place for good reason. I mean, very strong showings throughout, whereas Cryolien, his best bet might be on his highest score on qualifiers, which would be the technical map. So I'd like to see something there from him.
Yeah, some avenues of attack may present themselves as we make our way into the match proceedings, but it is probably going to be quite an uphill battle for Cryolien here today. That being said, can't count out anybody. They still got to play the match, and I mean, it's all fun and games looking at it on paper, but once the notes start coming down and that first map starts to hit, all expectation can get thrown out in certain instances. But with how experienced GripWarrior has been and how dominant they have been in the tournament scene as of late, I'd imagine the nerves are probably superficial once they get in and dialed in. It's basically just another day in the office for them.
Yeah, knowing Grip, he's probably big chilling right now. But that being said, Cryolien with the custom warm-up made by him, nice LN map, that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think they dabble a lot in mapping every now and again, and it'll be very interesting to see how they handle things now. We are a couple notches easier in a map pool compared to the qualifiers. As you said, they did manage to get a pretty decent score in that tech qualifier. So I know the tech maps haven't been the most popular maps, but they have definitely been pretty contentious when they actually do get picked. Have seen some pretty interesting chokes and some pretty ridiculous comebacks on those picks in particular. So it'll be interesting to see what the plan of attack, what the strategy is going to be for them once the protects and bans start to come out here.
Yeah, you definitely said it with the chokes. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of drops on Promise this round so far, so I mean, if Cryolien can just nail it down and FC it, he can definitely hope for a missed slider on Grip's end, possibly with that map. Might be a good idea to go with an immediate protect onto the technical side and try to ban something more standard, something like possibly Tokyo Ghetto, Disco Quiet, anything that Grip can really act on would be a good pick.
Yeah, absolutely. You would imagine that there's potential for some pretty ridiculous ratios coming out from GripWarrior on those less physically oriented maps. So probably wanting to stray away from them once we get everything underway. Like, look at this. This is a pretty physical map that we just saw on display, and I mean, Grip just absolutely destroyed it. 993. Just like I said, another day in the office for them. And once we get into the actual map pool, I imagine it's going to be like, okay, uh, get in, job done, get out.
Oh yeah, we're always chasing that bag, as we said. So, ooh, cool warm up from GripWarrior stability map.
Yeah, stability has been very aptly represented in the warm-ups. The people's champ when it comes to making warm-ups. They have a pretty decent repertoire of music to go through. Cannot blame people for wanting to give it a listen and a nice little playthrough.
Yeah, and knowing Grip, he definitely listens to the song a lot outside of Osu.
Yeah, for sure. This is probably one of the best maps to go for, especially if you do enjoy the music and just kind of settle into a bit of a groove, get your fingers warm for what is to come. So, be interesting to see what they do on a map like this.
And interesting to note as well, it's pretty much around the same star rating as most of the other maps on this pool, so it's pretty apt, I guess, as a pick. Might work out to see and test Cryolien on those slightly easier maps, because as it stands, Cryolien's warm-up was a bit harder, and Grip just blew him out of the water on his own warm-up, so...
Yeah, but it could also be one of those cases where it's like you pick something that's very physically oriented, maybe something that you don't want to put too much effort into, but can definitely still get the job done in terms of getting the fingers warm. So could be one of those cases where they didn't want to exert too much effort, lest they give away a little bit too much information, maybe reveal their hand too early before we get into those later rounds. Because there's definitely some players that like to scout out their opponents ahead of time and see what they're good at. And if you're going to be picking an LN map for a warm-up, can potentially be revealing some tidbits of information to those watching.
Oh, I could totally see that. I'm always a big fan of people that look ahead to the future rounds and try to, minimize the amount of info that you give off in a tournament, because it is super important, I do believe, especially when it comes to trying to take break points. You maybe want your opponent to slip up and trap them into thinking you aren't as good as on a skill set that you haven't picked too much in the tournament so far, when in reality you are.
Yeah, for sure. And as we make our way into the last quarter of this warm-up, I mean, this is just arguably a very comfortable pick for Grip. I mean, this is probably going to be the relative accuracy that they're going to maintain once we get into the actual match proceedings. So if this is anything to go by, this is definitely going to be a bit of a test for Cryolien to try and get a point or two off of Grip.
Oh, definitely. I could totally see Grip trying to go for like an above 99.9 on every map, which is around that 996 area. So I mean, Cryolien has a huge task to shoulder, and I mean, looking at it, it might be a very uphill battle for him. However, it is LN, and anything could happen. One drop could mean one breakpoint for Cryolien.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like the rolls are coming out. Grip gonna win that 57-8. Cryolien also prefacing it with their chance to win. So that 8 does not bode well for them, but let's hope that they can defy expectations.
Definitely. And as we talked about, I mean, Cryolien, I would like him to look towards the tech side, but I'm not sure what Grip would like. It does seem like he will protect Clematis, so I mean, that's very scary for your opponent too. That is protect the skill set that you feel most comfortable on. It's very scary.
Yeah, for sure. But who knows? Maybe they found some comfort in other aspects of the pool. This is, of course, speculation from us, and it looks like coordination going to be where they're going to reside in Disco Kawaii, getting protected by Cryolien. So that map definitely has some room for, if not chokes, just dropping accuracy and giving yourself a way in. So definitely enjoy that one if you don't want to dive too hard into like the density. And it looks like Grip is going to opt to get rid of Elsa de la Bibliothèque. So one of the density maps getting knocked out. Would not be surprised. I was about to say more density gets knocked out, but the Fascinating Cat's Eye going to get banned, which is very unfortunate for those of us that really enjoy that song.
Oh yeah, and I know you and I are pretty intimately acquainted with that map as well. Very sad to see it go. However, I mean, Cryolien does not want it. Disco Kawaii as his protect. I mean, that's very interesting since out of the other coordination picks, I think it's the hardest one to FC. So it's a very good pick in my opinion compared to Desperate and Tokyo Ghetto. But I think it's also important to note that Cryolien did get 82nd on the coordination qualifiers. Maybe it was 2 bad runs, who knows, but I mean, maybe not one of his best skill sets as well.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. So it looks like Prayer is going to be the first pick coming out from GripWarrior here. Looks like the players are ready. We're going to get into this first map of this best of 7. First player to get 4 points will be moving on to the round of 32 in the winners bracket. Nobody going to be eliminated here. Just going to drop down into that lower bracket. So a little bit to play for. Want to keep that winners bracket run alive as long as humanly possible. Good luck to both the players.
And starting off here, you do see the difference in accuracy. Cryolien at around a 99.7. I think he took a 200 at the start, possibly. Whereas GripWarrior is just killing it right now. However, it's not at the main bulk of the song. You'll see a lot of LN streams later on, so maybe that's somewhere that Cryolien can make up ground.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely still in this, despite the accuracy discrepancy being about 0.3% going into the second third of the map. Both players still holding on to their FCs here. It's just really separated by the overall accuracy. We can see Cryolien releasing very early as they try and make their way through these patterns relatively unscathed, dropping down into that 99.5 range. Meanwhile, GripWarrior is still in that 99.9% range to work with, giving themselves plenty of cushion lest anything happen as we make our way into the back half of the map here.
Yeah, GripWarrior is gonna be looking to 997 this entire map unless a slew of bad notes or a drop comes through. There's about a couple of other LN streams where he could choke. Cryolien dropping down to 99.5 FC. That is pretty low by this round standards, as we've seen from the other players. However, anything could happen in this last 8th of the map. A couple more bad judgments by Cryolien as the map closes off. We're finally going under that 99.9. However, it's not going to matter much when you have such an act lead over Cryolien.
Oh my goodness, what a run. 996. And despite Cryolien's best efforts, 983 for them and FC, only a couple of 200s, so nothing too bad there. But when you're going up against a player that can get a double-digit 300 count on a map like this, it is tough sledding from the very beginning.
Jeez, 996 with 2 greats to boot, that is extremely scary. I mean, when you're facing the USA Mini World Cup captain, and also kind of the staple because GripWarrior plays everything and he's good at everything, it is extremely daunting, as we've said. But GripWarrior gonna go, or Cryolien gonna go for Disco Kawaii, his protect already off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Best get it out of the way early here, see if we can try and establish a bit of a foothold in the match. And I mean, like I was saying before this match started, Disco Kawaii definitely lends itself to some areas where if you're not too comfortable, can find yourself dropping some accuracy. That's probably where they're hoping to make their attack here to try and get a point off of GripWarrior. But as it stands, we're already seeing that accuracy discrepancy start to build up a little bit. I think as Bancho was getting everything synced up, we saw GripWarrior having a bit of a low accuracy to start off, but it immediately jumped right back up. 99.95 for them. Cryolien not too far behind, 99.78, about to climb back up into the 99.8 range, but definitely going to need to pick up the pace just a little bit here. And the fact that we're saying that with a 99.8 just tells you the level of competition that they're facing here going into the second quarter of the map.
Oh yeah, a 99.8 is great for sure, but when your opponent has a 99.96, that's extremely scary. Granted, we haven't gotten to a lot of the harder sections in here. We do see the very tight gaps that are decently chokeable, but that first half was pretty much all very basic coordination. We do have a couple of small but fast inverse sections later on where GripWarrior could find some drops in accuracy.
Yeah, but for right now, still maintaining that accuracy gap over Cryolien going into the last third of the map. It is now about 0.2% despite Cryolien's best efforts. Just the level of which GripWarrior is playing on right now. Another couple of inverse sections coming out here. Both players reading their way through it relatively effortlessly, not taking too much damage. Just a couple 300s here and there. Can be forgiven. Next couple of bursts, I think I might have seen another couple of 300s from Grip, but still in that 99% mark. And oh my goodness, what a run from both of these players, still holding on to their FCs here.
Yeah, I know in the pre-match lobby, both of them said they don't like very slow inverse, but they absolutely killed that section. Unfortunately for Cryolien, a 992 is not going to be enough. GripWarrior absolutely besting him on MA. Same grade count, however, I mean, slashed his perfects into a third. That's a very good score, almost 997.
Yeah, for sure. So a PB from Cryolien on that map. You love to see it during match time. Unfortunate the level of opponent that they're facing here. That would have been enough to take down a decent number of players in this tournament. And it looks like GripWarrior is going to opt to go for China Dress. First density map of the match.
Yeah, you're totally right when you say it would have taken out a decent chunk, because, I mean, almost a 993 is very, very good. I mean, probably would have taken out a lot of people in the top 32 even. Unfortunately for him, his opponent is GripWarrior. But we are getting into China Dress. It's very release oriented and also very, very dense, it being a density pick.
Yeah, lends itself to that skill set. Could see a couple misreads coming out on a pick like this. It remains to be seen as we make our way into this third map of this best of 7. GripWarrior still up 2-0 here, looking to try to make it match point as soon as humanly possible. Cryolien trying to stop them in their tracks, but right now we're seeing more of the same here. About 0.2% of an advantage for GripWarrior to start the map off, and that uphill climb once again, rolling that boulder up the hill is Cryolien here as we make our way into the second quarter of the map.
Man, and those stagger releases are doing quite a bit of damage to Cryolien, whereas GripWarrior seems extremely comfortable when it comes to that. I mean, when we get into this back half of the map, things might change. However, as it stands now, GripWarrior does find an unlikely break, so that bleed will swap over to Cryolien's side, and the acts are pretty much evened out.
Yeah, but that was such a dirty miss from GripWarrior, finding 0.3 of a drop there, and you saw that lead immediately swing over to the side of Cryolien. This was the break that they needed as GripWarrior makes their way back up into that 400 combo cap. Back half of the map still to go. Gotta start making inroads in this lead, already pulling away far ahead of Cryolien's accuracy, even with the drop here. But the fact that Cryolien is still holding on to the FC, it takes about 3 to 0.4% to pull lead back from a miss, and the fact that Cryolien is still keeping this relatively close, not going to make it very easy for GripWarrior going into the last quarter of the map.
Yeah, and when you put it like that, I mean, Cryolien even though he did get the luxury of a drop from GripWarrior, he cannot afford to drop any more 200s because it's way too close to tell. GripWarrior is already climbing up back to 99.8 after a dirty drop. That is entirely way too scary. As this map closes out, it's gonna inch a bit over, but Cryolien seems to have everything in shape and is gonna take this point, albeit very, very closely.
Very close, and that was 3 misses. That was one bad misread coming out from GripWarrior that made all the difference. If they didn't find that drop, that would have been a V1 double S here. And Cryolien, out of everybody involved in this match, I think Cryolien is the most surprised that they won that pick.
Yeah, I mean the question marks coming in. Cryolien is so surprised, but I mean, we take those, right? You
We take
gotta
those.
take. You have to take those, and you gotta run with it because it's your pick now, Cryolien. So you have to try to tie it up.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm seeing that China dress run, I would imagine Sailing Force might be on the cards if there's a little bit of blood in the water, maybe some uncertainty in the performance of GripWarrior, not them as a person, but the equipment that they're using. Might as well take advantage of that if you can. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to go for here. I can imagine the coordination might be something to avoid, but Desperate coming out, coordination 2. Not the biggest fan of this pick, just giving GripWarrior's overall accuracy advantage. But, I mean, if it works and you feel like you can perform on it, who am I to judge?
Yeah, as I've said before, Desperate is definitely, in my opinion, one of the easier maps in the pool, something that I feel everyone can FC on command. It really just depends on your PA. So it's very, very interesting to see Cryolien pick this when he's been getting extremely outact this entire set. However, I mean, again, one bad miss from GripWarrior could change things, and when GripWarrior drops 3 times and you still have a lead by only 2,000 points, you might need to see something big again from GripWarrior for Cryolien to take this point.
Right you are, and as we start this map off, relatively clean starts for both players, and as I say that, I see Cryolien dropping a couple 200s, dropping them down into that 99.7 range, and it's going to give that same buffer we've been seeing from GripWarrior establishing throughout this match. About 0.2%, that's going to be the margin between these two players, less outside forces intervene like we saw on that last density pick. So
yeah, I feel like that 0.2% has been about the margin for all of the other maps too, where it just hangs above a 99.9, and Cryolien kind of is around that 99.6 or 7. But on this map, Cryolien actually getting down to a 99.46. It was his pick as well, so some points of uncomfortability here possibly from him, or just a very bad run. But I mean, with that being said, it's a huge lead for GripWarrior as we get into this last third of the map, and a miss might not even change it.
yeah, we're quickly approaching that point where could probably overcome a drop like that. A 200 from Cryolien on that last release, transitioning into the last quarter of the map isn't going to help matters here. Last sliver map left to go, and this lead is about 10,000 points just based on accuracy alone. GripWarrior recovering very well from that drop in that last density pick, able to pick up where they left off on the other maps and deliver the performances that we know him for. 99.93 to round us out, and what a way to recover from giving up unlikely point and take that breakpoint back. 77 300s.
Oh geez, 77 perfects and a V1 SS from GripWarrior, almost getting a 998 on Desperate is absolutely insane. Cryolien 985 FC, definitely on the lower end of FCs that we've seen so far on this map, but still a good showing by him. Unfortunately, just a bit too many accuracy drops, bit too many grades.
Yeah, can't afford that when going up against some of the best, and GripWarrior wasting 0 time, opting to go. I believe this is for their protect, and it's going to be Clematis coming out here.
Yeah, technical one coming from GripWarrior. It's a very good song, and that the drums in the map just add a certain level of extra depth when it comes to how the patterns play out, because I mean a lot of rice is added in here.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle some of those introductory shield patterns and see if they can maintain their accuracy through them. There are some definitely very awkward patterns found throughout this map as we make our way through this introduction, and here they make their appearance. And it looks like GripWarrior handling them a little bit better than Cryolien. Both players still holding on to their FCs, but once again, that accuracy advantage separating these two players for right now.
Yep, a couple of greats coming out from Cryolien's side, hanging around that 99.5 as we saw like on Desperate. GripWarrior just so comfortable on this map. It's why he protected it. He did want to protect Cat's Eye, but this was his second choice, and as it stands, he is absolutely killing it right now with a 99.93 on a technical map like this. That is extremely scary. He's so comfortable on it that, again, Cryolien just needs to have him drop in order to make some inroads and try to gain this point.
Yeah, but Grip isn't going to make it easy as we make our way into the back half of the map. Looks like both players have settled into their relative accuracy ranges, and GripWarrior is still maintaining at 99.9, as we have seen throughout this entire match. That one blemish tarnishing the scoreline, but I mean, it's just a blip on the radar. As far as they're concerned, Cryolien about to climb back up into that 99.7 range, putting on a really good showing here. One that could rival some players around their seeding, but unfortunately, I mean, that's just how the cards fall. Going up against the 5th seed here, it was always going to be a tough road ahead, but made the most of it, able to take a point away from a top seed, and GripWarrior nonetheless trying to rest your cap on a slider break from Cryolien, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin for this match. Last server map left to go, and you see how quickly that lead ballooned over to the left-hand side.
Oh, just an unfortunate break by Cryolien. I was about to commend him on how consistent he has been on the other 4 maps. I mean, you don't see a lot of players in this round being able to FC 4 maps in a row like that. We've seen a lot of, you know, unfortunate drops, but Cryolien has been very consistent. So it's unlucky to see him break on a map like this, but when GripWarrior does this and gets almost a 997 V1SS, it's hard. It's extremely hard.
Yeah, you just need to tip your cap, be like, okay, you're the better player on the day. Just type close, GG, and call it a day. Congratulations to GripWarrior for winning this match 4-1, moving on to the round of 32 in the winner's bracket. As we said at the top of the broadcast, not the end of the road for Cryolien. We'll be dropping down into that lower bracket. It looks like we're going to have a very interesting matchup for GripWarrior going into round of 32, going against Sunny XXY. Meanwhile, on the other side of the brackets here, we have that match set in stone. I believe that's going to be Cryolien going against Ciaro in that lower bracket.
Yeah, I believe so. And if Cryolien keeps up that consistency, I can definitely see him taking the match against him, because that's he is the lower seed in that lower bracket. But very scary player. So good looks to Cryolien. A very good try by him. Even getting a point off of GripWarrior, so GG's, well played. That's going to be it for us just for now. We do have a match coming up in 3 hours. That is Itadori, I think, right?
I think that is going to be Sukidayo going against Iderb at 7 UTC.
My bad. Yeah, you're right. So we'll see you guys in a couple of hours. Nothing else to say from me. Sparky, you got anything?
No. Congratulations once again to GripWarrior for winning this match, and we will see you guys just a couple hours. Take care.